Yeah. Uh, in India, I've experienced this quantitative marking, which is based on marks. So every question is allotted a mark, a definite set of marks, and you get some marks out of those or the entire full marks. But over here, in my experience, it's qualitative because I've never had these marks. They were always points. So those points are always ambiguous. If the professor feels like I put in more efforts in a particular question, then he considers that question more as compared to others. So it's not a uniform marking scheme. Basically, it's qualitative. So it's basically on the professor who evaluates your exams as to how he thinks you have approached the question and how you have answered, what analysis have you put in the question to get to the answer. And the grading system would be from 1 to 5. So 1 being the best and 5 being the worst. It's in stark contrast to what we have back in India, is from 0 to 10, 10 being the best. So roughly, if you have to compare, there is a Bavarian formula which is available for free on Google. You can go and have a search for it, which converts your grade in India to a grade in Germany. So having a grade of 2.0 or less than that is considered to be a distinction. To have anything above that is first class, and anything above 2.5 is not good. If you're above 4, then it's fail.
It's quite interesting to study in Germany. So this was all from my side. So Snehashri, now I would request you to address the questions mentioned in the chat box. Over to you, Snehashri. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. So we have some questions in the chat box. Our first question is: I would be an average student with pointer floating between 6.75 to 7.5. Can a student like me pursue masters abroad? What extra things would I need to work for the same?
Okay. What I think is, for the start, at least to get to Germany, they do see your pointer in India because there is no other way they can evaluate you. Second thing, if you want to study masters abroad, in my opinion, you need to have a course defined. It's not just that you have to study masters. This is not just this persuasion that would lead you over here. You at least need to pinpoint to a course because students from all over the world apply over here, and there is always some person who's better than you, even if you think if you are. So if you're not pinpointing to a course and just presiding over the fact that you want to do masters, I think that would be more difficult to you to get into a course rather than your pointer being the criteria for evaluation. Uh, Again, different universities have different thresholds for a pointer converted into their local system pointer. If you still want to improve your pointer, of course, you have to study and score well. There is no other way around it. And if you want to do a course which is not in English, if at all you do want to go on that endeavor, then you have to learn that language basically. So over here as well, I do have some courses in German as well as in English. So for those German courses, I need to have a lot of help. Although the technical concepts to understand in German is way difficult than I thought. So there are some issues to do that, but you get by if you have the right connections and right friends. So even the professors are good, so you get over it. So just try to learn new things. Try to learn new things from not an exam perspective. That's what I would say. I have no idea if that would work for you. I don't know about that.
Yes, thank you. So the second question is, what are the skills that an electronics engineer should definitely have?
Uh, so when you say electronics engineer, I guess that's a very broad term. I don't know what you exactly want to be in an electronics engineer because nowadays even uh, embedded system engineering is also included in electronics. Uh, but if you are talking about just hardware, I think it is so basically. I think these skills are necessary in every field. I don't differentiate between them. It's basically not wanting to give up even when you fail. So that would be very important for me. Uh, so when you're doing something new, 9 out of 10 times you are going to fail. So it's just about trying to go for that one time and saying that no, I would even do it another try. Doesn't matter if I failed 9 out of 10 times, and that's what would take you over the line as compared to your peers. So I think not giving up and just learning from your mistakes. So it doesn't make sense if if you do the same mistake 9 times and then say that I'm still having encouragement. That doesn't make sense. If you do 9 different mistakes and learn from them each time, and then you make it happen the 10th time, that makes a lot of difference, and that is worth appreciation. So I think that's necessary.
Yeah. So the next question is how to work on the verbal section so that we build up confidence and we don't get too nervous when we encounter new words.
Uh, I honestly I didn't make it through that in the best of ways. So my opinion would rather have lesser value in this. Because honestly, you ask any person who has appeared for the IELTS test or TOEFL or GRE, whatever, there is always some or the other word which you find that you have never seen before in your life, and you cannot even make out what the meaning is in the fairest of sense. So it goes by this principle wherein focus on what you can perform on rather than focus on what you know that you cannot perform. So it's good to know that you cannot do that. It's better to know it beforehand and make contingency plans so that even if you lose something in that section, it's compensated by something more that you gain in some other section.
Yeah. So the another question is if I wish to pursue master's degree in Germany, in which way it is needed to learn German? Just for the way of communicating with people over there or more?
Uh, so in my experience, I had thought of the same thing, that since my course was officially in English, I wouldn't have to have the need to learn German. So I would be able to just get by with English. And since Hamburg is a metropolitan city, I thought that even the locals would be very well versed with English. But much to my dismay, I found out that things work over here differently. So you need to know German. And since the professors themselves are German, they sometimes tend to use or start explaining in German out of the blue. So it's their mother tongue. They find it comfortable, although they are supposed to teach in English. They sometimes switch to German. Not that they don't listen to be switching back to English, but it gets kind of annoying, I would say, because you know that the subject is one of your favorite subjects, but sometimes you do not understand that because the language is something you are not familiar with. Uh, so just to be on the safer side, I'm not saying that it's the case in every university. At least it was the case here with two of my subjects. So for that, I decided that it's necessary for me to at least know some words which are typically occurring in the lecture in German. Um, but when I started doing that, I found out relatively easy to rather do the entire language. So uh, because of that, I pretty much did the learning of entire language. So probably right now I'm at a level wherein I could understand a German lecture. Not completely, but I would at least get the essence of it. Also, in social life, it helps because the shopkeepers, some local people like living over here, it helps. Like it's a advantage to have by your side. It never hurts.
Yeah. So now we have last question from the chat box. How is the environment for studying in German as most of things are based on project-based learning? What difference it creates as a student?
Okay, so there are two types of masters. So you can do it by research or you can do it academically. So if you're doing it by research, that's where the project scenario comes in. Uh, if you're having a project scenario, it is necessary to be aware of the research that is going on in the institute itself. So the institute where I work in, a lot of medical and optoelectronic research goes on. Like I do not find time to catch up with all of those things. It is not exceptionally out of the world, but it is something new and it is something that I'm at a level of understanding. I'm a master's student, so I should be understanding that. But it's a lot of research going on. So if you can keep up your pace with it, I think you would definitely be able to find out projects of your own, which is something I happened to do this semester, the previous semester. Like I finished my project just as I mentioned, which was LDO, like low dropout regulator for system on chip. So
Yes.
that's one thing. Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Thank you, Saurav. So due to time limitation, we can't take further chat box question. So I will hand over the session to Soujanya.
Thank you, Snehashri. Hello.
Yep.
Yes. Like Saurabh, can you give few words of advice for those who are specifically planning to do their masters in Germany? Like some advice.
Uh, okay. Advice would be advice and encouragement, if I hear you right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So advice would be to test the depth of the water before you jump in, and not get discouraged if you aim for the wrong thing when judging the depth of the water. So it happens. It's okay. Just get on over it and look ahead what you want to do. Encouragement would be uh, so just like any other student in any part of the world, you as well are engineers. So just don't undermine yourself, but be aware of what you know and what you don't know. So that's one thing being confident, and there's totally another thing being overconfident. So just be aware of what you know, what you don't know, and the third and most important thing is be aware of what you don't know that you don't know. I don't know if you get this, but the third part is the most important part for me, and knowing that gives you pretty much a huge sense of confidence of being what you are, both technically as well as personally. Because coming to Germany is not just about not just Germany, but going out of India for education in any part of the world. It's not just about having that master's degree or just studying something new that you don't find back home or something like that. It's more of having to set your life over here and understanding that it's going to be a huge journey, a difficult one maybe for some, a easy one for others, but it's just going to be worth it. So but plan for it properly, analyze what you want to do, and just don't hold on to this compulsion which you have set up inside you, probably of doing masters abroad or something. If you think you want to, if you think it's going to pay off, go for it, but just think of it and analyze that first. That would be my 2 words. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And would you please share your experience being an Elisite and how did it help you?
So I've had some fond memories of being an LSAT, starting from the first year, then FE coordinator, the second year secretary, joint secretary, third year I guess web developer, junior web developer, and with the fourth year I didn't find time, so I didn't take part in anything. Looking back, I think each of those responsibilities taught me something or the other. But another thing to note was that I got a chance to learn things which were not even close to what my responsibility was. So, working in an organization is something you need to imbibe in yourself. Just because you're a joint secretary, or if just because you're a joint web developer, does not mean that you won't be given responsibilities which are outside of your profile description. And you need to take it with open arms, because in the end, your result is what matters. And that team building effort is something I cherish. That's something I still practice over here. Uh, it was a different experience, and I hold it dear to my heart. And I think since you guys are still in Alisa, take proper advantage of this opportunity to be with your peers, to be with your people, and to make the most out of it.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, for taking time out from your busy day and to share your experience with us and motivating us.
we gained a lot of insight from you. Also, we would like to know how was your experience reconnecting with Elisa? Like after 3 years gap, how was it? How was your experience of reconnecting with us?
Firstly, I think it's hardly a busy schedule given the situation of things going around. Nevertheless, but it it was nostalgic for me, to be honest. Refreshing my own memories of how we did things, what we did with the people that I did, and I do feel envious that I'm not a part of it anymore. There was a point in my final year where I felt that, oh come on, I should have had taken part and been at some responsibility just so that I could hang out with the group. But it felt pretty good to connect back. I liked it.
I'd like to thank all of the viewers that joined us through Zoom and YouTube channel. And last thing, I would ask everyone to just switch on their video so we could take some screenshots. Yes. Thank you all. Thank you once again. So I officially declare that the session is over. Thank you, Saurabh.
Welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.